last day of July. Tomorrow, August begins. We got children getting ready to head back to school. But for you Alabama fans out there, fall camp, baby, fall practice begins Thursday. Players report to camp Wednesday. You're rocking and rolling right here. Hottest show on the streets. We're talking nothing but your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you in here checking us out on today. We bring you the show from the Magic City of Birmingham. We stream this to you through YouTube. Speaking of a channel, you know what time it is. You tap that subscribe button right now. Hit subscribe right now. Subscribe to the channel. Get everybody that you know to hit that subscribe button as well. Every diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Tide football, hitting that subscribe button, and also share the show around to everyone you know. Every platform that you have, make this your spot, your network, your channel. Talking nothing but Tide football. Be sure to also hit that like button. Give us that thumbs up. Tap the like button right here. Like the show. We appreciate that. We're trying to get the show out the gate. 50 likes here to start the show. That daily super chat go $100 daily. Super chat go $100 right there. And we're already getting started with Clark RTR. Roll Tide roll, baby. With that $4.99 in the super chats. Appreciate that from Clark. And then we got Aaron Majeezy. Aaron McGuire is in the ball game with that $2 donation. Showing love right there. And then we got the Sage. Oh my gosh, the Sage with a $5 donation. Dropping the love there in the bucket. Appreciating Aaron McGuire, the Sage, and Clark RTR. Getting started right here on the show. We want to hear from you tonight, the Bama faithful. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in to let your voice be made known on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. We want to hear from you. Got a lot to dive into. And so, John, we'll start off with this. Fall camp starting Thursday. The players report to camp on Wednesday. For you, the Bama faithful out there, there are big questions. There are questions that you want answers to in preseason camp. There are questions you want answers to in fall practice. There are questions you want answers to make you feel a little bit better or a lot better about your team, about your program, as you want to see this group get back to an SEC championship, right? Get back to a college football playoff and win, a national championship. So there are questions that you as the fans want answers to. And as far as the big questions are concerned, especially for one Coach Saban entering his 17th year since 2007 with the program, going after national championship number 7 for the Crimson Tide, which would put him over Paul Bear Bryant for the most national championships in the history of Alabama football. Crimson Tide football right there. But here are the big questions here that you as fans want answers to. And my man John Ivory's got them on screen. So number one, the big question, whoever wins the starting quarterback job, whether it's Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, Tyler Buckner, will they be able to hold the job from start to finish? Whoever wins the job, will they be able to hold that job from start to finish and trying to get Alabama to that national championship? That's number one. Number two question that we're all asking right now is, does a true freshman running back end up being the starter? Does Bama have a true freshman start at the running back position? Number three, we look at, in terms of Alabama's offensive line, does the offensive line become elite again? Does it become dominant again? Does it become a Joe Moore award-winning group again? The Alabama offensive line. That's the third question. Fourth question, we look at Alabama's defense. Is it back to a ferocious standard after 4 to 5 years of disappointment from Pete Golding? Yes, the 2020 team did win the national championship, but people more so give credit to Steve Sarkisian in the offense versus Pete Golding in the defense. So is Bama's defense back to that ferocious standard? There's a question. Another big question here would be, were Kevin Steele and Tommy Rees the right hires at both coordinator positions for Alabama? That's a question that we want to kind of see answers start off here in fall camp. And then last but not least, does a number one option emerge here at wide receiver in fall camp? All of these are the big questions here that you want to see answered in fall camp for your Crimson Tide. So we start this off with the quarterback room. Whoever starts at the quarterback position, will that particular player hold the job for the full 2023 campaign in the upcoming fall? I know we have betting odds out there that may say, Ty Simpson will be the starting quarterback against Middle Tennessee State. And if that's the case, does he hold the job throughout the entire season? You have some national media pundits that feel like Tyler Buckner, transfer from Notre Dame, is the best option. And if that is so, does he hold the job throughout the remainder of the season? And then you have Jalen Milroe, who a lot of people just want to see prove people wrong. He comes out of this with the starting job. Does he hold on to it throughout the whole season? All three guys have talent. All three guys have potential. But which quarterback, in your opinion, if you're an Alabama fan, should they win the starting job, you feel like they will hold that job from start to finish? It's gonna be a fun fall camp for that number one question right there in the quarterback room. You go to number two here. You look at the Alabama running back situation for this version of Crimson Tide football. You got 5 guys on the roster, 5. 3 with experience: Jace McClellan, Roydell Williams, and Jam Miller. 2 hotshot freshmen, Justice Haynes and Richard Young. But the question is, does Justice Haynes, as a true freshman, does Justice Haynes leapfrog Jace McClellan to be running back one? It's a big question right there. Jace McClellan is a preseason candidate for the Maxwell Award that came out today. According to an announcement from the Maxwell Football Club, the Maxwell Award goes to the most outstanding player in college football. It's been awarded since 1937. 5 Alabama players have won the award. A.J. McCarron got it started in 2013. Derrick Henry won it in 2015. That's the only running back to win it. And then you had guys like Devontae Smith and Bryce Young to win the award. I think Tua Tagovailoa got it as well, if I'm not mistaken. So when you look at Jace McClellan, he's a preseason candidate for the Maxwell Award. But is this a situation where a true freshman like Justice Haynes leapfrogs him and be the starting running back? I mean, Coach Saban said a lot about Haynes in spring football. Said, hey, if you watch him, you wouldn't really recognize this young man as a freshman. That good, really that good. 2 scrimmages prior to the spring game. Ripped off some big plays, chunk yards plays, touchdown runs. In the spring game itself, 3 touchdowns, including a touchdown reception from Dylan Larnigan. Does Haynes leapfrog Jace McClellan to become running back one? The question that U.S. fans want to see answered here in fall camp. Number 3, Alabama's offensive line. Does it return to being elite again? When you look at elite offensive lines for Alabama, we look back at that 2009 offensive line. Yeah. We look back at that 2011, definitely that 2012 offensive line. That 2012 group was pretty nasty. 2015 offensive line did help Derrick Henry win the Heisman Trophy. Also helped Derrick Henry collect over 2,000 yards rushing. That 2015 group was substantial there. But 2020 offensive line was good. Definitely really good. Another Joe Moore Award winner with Landon Dickerson, Evan Neal, Alex Leatherwood, those guys sort of leading the way there. Deontay Cornbread Brown played a role also. So, but this year's group, is this offensive line a force to be reckoned with? Eric Wolford did a lot with this group this offseason. They've worked with an offensive line guru in terms of violent hand strike, heavy hands, violent hand technique there. Moving guys off the football. J.C. Latham mentioned SEC Media Days. We're going to be physical. We're going to be dominant. We're going to be pushing guys off the ball. Running backs are going to want to run the ball and run through you. Guys that are going to want to block at the point of attack. Is the O-line a force to be reckoned with? Question that you as Bama fans want to have answered here in fall camp. We move forward to the defense. Is the Bama defense back to the ferocious standard? That's the question everybody's been asking all summer long. Is the defense back to being an Alabama signature defense again that we saw prior to Pete Golding walking in 2018? But the Pete Golding experiment was not good. Not the best thing to happen at all whatsoever. And like I mentioned, even though Bama won national championship in 2020, people give more so credit to Sarkisian and that offense versus Golding and the defense. So the experiment with Golding, not what the Bama Nation wanted there. So, is this Alabama defense about that action? Or is it still just talk? And we heard some great talk at Media Days about wanting to be, big-time Bama again, wanting to be feared again, wanting to be respected again. You heard talk about what Kevin Steele has done since he's been back in Tuscaloosa where this defense is concerned. But do we see action this year from this Alabama defense? Back to that ferocious standard. Question you want answered here in fall camp. Next thought here, Kevin Steele and Tommy Rees, were these two guys the right hires? We all can unanimously say Pete Golding was not the right hire. We all can also sort of say Bill O'Brien, was that really the right hire? Alabama wasn't necessarily as balanced offensively as we would like for it to have been. Did Saban get this right with Tommy Rees and Kevin Steele? The question that you as Bama Nation want to see answered here in fall camp. Now, of course, both of these two will speak to the media for the first time as Alabama coaches. Well, it won't be the first time that, Kevin Steele's an Alabama coach because this will be his third or fourth stint. But for Tommy Rees, in the words of former Cash Money artist, Cash Money record artist Kevin Rudolph, welcome to the world, Tommy Rees. You're in here with Alabama and Coach Saban now. So we'll get to see both of these guys speak here to local media. We'll get a chance on Sunday, August 5th, that being Fan Day, or Sunday, August 6th, that being Fan Day, to get the philosophy, the game plan, the strategy that Tommy Rees and Kevin Steele want to put down there on the field. Were these two the right hires? We're going to get to see that here in fall camp. And then last but not least here, there's a number one wide receiver. There's a number one option emerge at wide receiver. After 2021, when you had Jamison Williams and John Mechie do the heavy lifting, much of that, last season, Bama didn't have that number one receiver that you could consistently go to the well to and trust that guy to make plays. Does Alabama get that number one weapon, that number one option there at the receiver position? Our talent in the room, absolutely. Isaiah Bond, talent. Kobe Prentice, talent. Kendrick Law, talent. Chaz Preston, talent. Ja'Cory Brooks, talent. Jermaine Burton, yes, he does struggle with drops, but still some talent there. And then you got Malik Benson, transfer from JUCO, talent. There is also Jalen Hale and Jaron Hamilton, talent there also. But there's a number one guy. Does Holman Wiggins get a number one guy to pop from this group? to increase the confidence of the quarterback that will be throwing this particular room the football? That is a question that you want to see answered here in fall camp. Starts off on Thursday, the first practice. But we're going to take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started here on a Monday. When we get back, we want to hear from you, the Bama fans, the Bama Nation. Line us up with your phone calls. Let us know what you think. We're coming to you after this.
Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
And we are back to the action here, folks, from the break. Number one ticket for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own word, George Truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you all here on a Monday. Continue hitting that thumbs up, getting the like button right here on the show, tapping that like button. We're at 55 likes. We're going for 100 now. So continue tapping the like button, hitting that thumbs up, making this your show, your spot for Bama football. Continue to hit that subscribe button as well. We definitely appreciate that. We got some super chats to roll into, John, so let's get started. Get the horn ready, let's go. How about Javion Smith with the $2 donation, baby? Javion Smith showing love there. We got Daryl Sanderson with that $10 donation. Appreciate Daryl. We got our own President Waylon dropping in that $4.99, showing love. Here comes Don the Man Parker with the $10 donation. Appreciate that from Don Parker. We got DJ on the track web with that $10 donation, helping us out here on the show. All of you making the Short Network your platform, your channel, your space to talk nothing but Bama football. Nothing but Bama football right here. We got a shout out here, new sponsor. We got to shout them out here on the show. Our new sponsor right here. We got them Caldera Lab. Caldera Lab. So check this out, folks. Check this out. From Caldera Lab. First impressions matter. There's no two ways around it, and your face is most likely the first thing that someone notices about you. How your skin looks is going to determine, good or bad, the impression. Clinically proven to reduce wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging, Caldera Lab is the leader in men's skincare and is here to save the day and your confidence. Use our exclusive code TDA at calderalab.com to enjoy 20% off their best products. Caldera Lab creates high-performance men's skincare products, and the regimen is your twice-a-day formula to transform your skin. And the best part, it's super easy. Literally takes 30 seconds in the morning and 30 seconds at night. What does Caldera offer? Let me tell you. First off, the clean slate starts and ends your day. This face wash leaves all skin types refreshed. Then you apply the base layer right after to moisturize and hydrate your skin. Even better, it absorbs fast, leaving you with a matte finish to start your day confidently. Then the good is your go-to at night face serum to round it out. This clinically proven multifunctional serum that helps your skin look tighter and smoother, as well as reduce reduce the visibility of wrinkles and fine lines. Get 20% off using our code TDA at CalderaLab.com. That's 20% off at CalderaLab.com by using our promo code TDA. Jump into skin and first impression royalty with Caldera Lab. That's CalderaLab.com. Check them out today. I'm already using it, John. Can you see a difference? I'm already kind of using it. Skin is getting that moisturization, that clearness to it, but we're going to go on the phone lines right now to get your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. And I'm going to call in to get your voice be known on the show, heard on the show, 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from. How we feeling?
Hello?
You're live. How we feeling? You're live. You're on the show.
Hello?
You're live on the show. You're live. Go ahead.
Hey, I got a quick question. What time the fan day start?
Okay, so I know the media portion's at 10:45. The fan day portion, I want to say 2:30. I will fact check the schedule, but I want to say 2:30.
All right, and about the receiver, I believe Isaiah Bond go really show what he got this year. He showed flashes at the very end against Tennessee and LSU, and he really showed off in the bowl game. So I really think Isaiah really go pop. And the last question I finna say about Pete Golden, it was a really drop ever since he came in. It been a drop ever since Jeremy Pruitt left. That when you've seen the defense really been playing, I want to say too pretty, too cute, not really putting a face in other people's chests and all that. So with Kevin Steele being back, this on my belief. I think Nick Saban really brought Kevin Steele back only because he want that physicality back. He want that meanness, that toughness. I think Alabama defense go really go show murder ball season. Like back in the days when we first had Kirby Smart, Jeremy Pruitt, and Bo Davis and all that. But since Bo Davis left, our defensive line actually went down ever since he left. The whole interior defensive line haven't really been popping ever since Bo Davis left. I know everybody say, "Oh, it ain't the coaches, it's the players." That's true, but you got to build that talent up. You got to have someone strong enough to show, "Hey, this is how we play. This is how we go attack the ball. This is how we play. This is how we attack the ball." And my portion, when I've been seeing from Freddie Roach, it's lacking the skill of what we need to do. You know, I know they say it's a lot on coaching, but I believe deep down, Freddie Roach might not be the guy for us. He let a lot of recruits been leaving. Ever since Freddie Roach really came, the defensive line. I know that ain't Freddie Roach's position. That's let's throw that out there. It ain't his position. He been coaching linebacker. But when he was at Ole Miss defense line coach, them boys were playing. They were getting out to people. They used to call themselves the Sharks. But I'm not finna be long. That's all I really had to say. But it been weak ever since Jeremy Pruitt. The defense been weak ever since Jeremy Pruitt left. And thanks for taking my call. And I just finna get my response when I hang up. Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate the call right there, starting off the show. And this is why fall camp this time around is going to be critical, because you as fans, you want to see the defense back. You want to see it back. You want to see the philosophy that Tommy Rees wants to have on offense. And most importantly, for a lot of you as Alabama fans, you want to see a year where you don't want to see Georgia grabbing a third national championship in a row. That's probably the pivotal thing that's on the minds of a lot of you. But we're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hi, Stephen. Bill from New York. What's up, man?
Doing good, Bill, and yourself?
We're good. We're good. I want to address two of your questions from the beginning of the show, if I can.
Go ahead.
As far as the offensive line, I think we can't possibly not be better. I think we're going to be much better. I think we have two, maybe three players that would be a better left tackle than the man we had last year. Come on. The guy's from Vanderbilt. And last year was a poor draft, really, in the NFL for left tackles. It wasn't all that great. And what did he go in the third round? I mean,
Yeah.
a left tackle from Alabama going in the third round, Stephen. I mean, please. Come on. Let's not kid ourselves. We got monsters coming in there. And on defense, as far as Golding, what I think about him is he's like an intellectual type. You know what I mean? He could draw up all these plays and dream up these formations. He's got Will Anderson running into pass coverage. Hey, look, you're right. That's not what we need. We need I was looking at videos, 2016 Alabama defense. Stephen, oh my God, Reuben Foster, that guy Humphrey, number 26. These guys were Ryan Anderson. These guys were crushing people. Jonathan Allen is hitting people, then picking the ball off and running for a touchdown. These guys were aggressive, brutal guys. Pain. We need that again. We need to just get out there and crush people like, Georgia. Oh, listen. Let's get back to the physical style and bring them on. Bring everybody on because we're going to stomp on them. You know what I'm saying?
I got you, Bill. I got you.
All right. That's all I got. Listen, the quarterback issue, I'm not even going to bring that up. There's plenty of time for that. But, I'm sure we'll be talking about that a lot. And God bless everybody. Roll Tide, roll.
Absolutely. Bill from New York calling in. Give us that love here on a Monday. We continue with phone calls. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
It's Monday night. Everybody stop by on Emily's, get you a pound cake. Everything's going to be all right. Listen, Stephen, we got to hash this out. Which one you want to be Wednesday, the ball boy or the water boy? Which one you want to do?
All right, Waylon, I'll be the ball boy. I'll be the ball boy.
Well, then we just walk in down there like Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor on Stir Crazy. We bad. Can't touch it. That's what it's going to be. Anyway, we'll be down there Wednesday morning, the good Lord willing. I don't know if they're ever going to let the media back in or not. We're going to have to start a petition on this, Stephen.
I mean, at this point, we're going to have to because, once again, we're going to be getting the film from the University of Alabama Athletics Department. They're not letting us in here for practices, but press conferences and player interviews, yes. But at some point, enough is enough. You got to let the media in on something.
Yeah, you got to let them in. I've been hearing a lot of good things, a few little things through the grapevine. I believe this young man from Auburn, Gary White's going to make a lot of difference on the defense. We really don't know, but I've been hearing some good things about this young man. What's your opinion about him? I think it's going to turn out real well with him, don't you?
I like what Tommy Rees is doing, or the philosophy he's got going here, with this offense. I think what he's going to do is what Coach Saban has designed, which is a bit more of that running game, which is the reason why Bama's been recruiting these physical offensive linemen. But I think Tommy Rees is still the type that he's going to want to take shots downfield. But he asked about the new Auburn hire. Okay, the new Auburn hire here, and that being Hugh Freeze, the new Auburn hire on Alabama staff, that being the defensive guy, the defensive line guy, Gary Walker. So I think what Gary Walker's going to do as a GA for Alabama coming from Auburn, well, he's going to mix in some things with Kevin Steele. He played under Kevin Steele at Auburn, so he knows what Kevin Steele's going to like to do and put together and scheme and strategize out. So I think as a GA, I've been working on a defensive line. Gary Walker will add some things. He'll add some things. He'll put his 2 cents in, his stamp on some stuff in a small package size there. That'd be fun to see what he does. But as a GA, one thing's for certain, when you're in that room with Coach Saban, when you're in those rooms with these big assistant coaches, you got to soak up everything around you. So I know Gary is going to soak up everything around him.
Yeah, I think so. I think Mr. Walker will do a good job helping Freddie Roach here. But anyway, great show tonight. New sponsors on the show. I need some of that face cream. That might make me look a little prettier. I might have to get on the show, Stephen. Anyway, I love all y'all. Y'all be safe. I'll try to be back maybe Wednesday for fall main day of fall practice there, and see y'all next week sometime. Y'all have a safe week. Everybody stay cool outside. Bye, everyone.
Appreciate the President Whalen calling into the show on a Monday. We grabbed this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, how you doing today, Stephen? This is Rambo calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Rambo, what's happening, man?
All right. With the defense side of the ball, I feel like we got more mean, dominant leaders. I feel like Will Anderson, everyone noticed, he was the better talent than Dallas Turner. But every time I see Dallas Turner, he's violent and he's not smiling. He wasn't playing with toe-to-toe. How Will Anderson, when he make a play, he run the toe-to-toe, smacking the helmet, laughing and smiling, playing. Dallas Turner is not on none of that. He is never smiling every time you see him. So I feel like with him, he is more of a leader than Will, but Will was a better player. On the secondary, I feel like Kool-Aid, he going to lead them boys. And on the speaking with the wide receivers, I'm going with the other caller. He said Isaiah Bond. I really believe that Isaiah Bond is going to be that dude. And I feel like I just hope that they don't let Burton just burn all the playing time up. I just really hope they don't let Burton and Ja'Cory Brooks do that again this year, because usually we have that dominant wide receiver and the young guys can learn and catch up. And then in year two, they become that number one. Like Jalen Waddle, he followed Julian, Devontae, and all them. And when they was leaving one by one, the next wide receiver took over. When Jalen Waddle got hurt in that Tennessee game, Devontae stepped it up. When Jalen Waddle first got there with when he made that play against Louisville, it was Jerry Jeudy and them boys. And then with the Kevin Steele thing, I feel like Kevin Steele, he like what the other caller said, we don't have to call up all them plays. If I'm bigger, faster, and stronger than you, you don't have to make me do all of this extra stuff. And when I be listening to the players talk now, they more so say, now I can play football. I don't have to worry about this super creative play. Everybody's saying I can just line up and put a hat on a head now. They wasn't really too much saying that these past couple of years. Now when you see them in these interviews, and I was listening to them on media days, they was just basically saying like, yo, I don't have to run around and do I have to be here, do I have to be here? No, see man, get them. See ball, get ball. That was my only thing with that. And thank you for taking my call.
Appreciate Rambo calling in from Atlanta. Everybody excited for preseason camp. Everybody excited for fall camp, which takes place. The players report Wednesday. The first day of practice, first day of camp, Thursday. We're going to get this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
This is Jake from Pensacola. How you doing?
Doing good, man. How we feeling?
Feeling good, man. I just got three things I want to say. I'm going to get out your way and listen to the rest of the callers. First thing, I feel like Ty Simpson has an advantage by having a dad who's the coach. I feel like he may be who we need as a quarterback. I love Jalen Milroe. I love him. Like I said, I want to see him prove all of us wrong, all the naysayers wrong. But I feel like Ty Simpson has the better chance of trying to win their starting job. And my second thing, I feel like two breakout players, wide receiver-wise, I feel like Malik Benson is going to show out. What he showed at the end of that eight-day game, like he sold me. I feel like he's going to be that guy. And I feel like Justin Haynes, he's going to have a phenomenal first year. I mean, it may be a reach, but I feel like he can even be a Heisman contender if he performs well. And that's all I got to say. You have a good day and roll tide.
Appreciate Jay from Pensacola calling in saying he feels like Justice Haynes may be a Heisman contender. That's going to be interesting right there. I mean, Justice Haynes has got a lot of talent, got a lot of ability on him. Nick Saban would not be saying these types of things about him or said the types of things he mentioned during spring practice if he did not see the talent that Haynes brings to the table. But cool call topic right here. Anthony Jennings, former Alabama outside linebacker Anthony Jennings, reminds us we are 33 days away from Alabama football, from the Crimson Tide kicking off its season on Saturday, September 2nd against Middle Tennessee State at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Anthony Jennings, who came in the 2015 signing class, former four-star, from Dadeville, Alabama. Jennings helping the Crimson Tide to 2 college football playoff national championships, 2015 and 2017. Jennings helping the Crimson Tide to 3 Southeastern Conference titles. That's 2015, 2016, and 2018. And each year, the young man got better and better and better and better, as a linebacker, despite having, an injury in his career there. But he's with the New England Patriots right now, former third-round pick of the 2020 NFL Draft. But Anthony Jennings reminds us we are 33 days away from Tide football. We're going to go to a break right here, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we get into a conversation about, in your opinion, what would deem as success for Alabama's defense this season? What would you quantify as success for Alabama's defense in the upcoming season? I'm going to give my thoughts on that right after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back into the action, rocking and rolling right here from the break. Hottest show on the streets, #1 ticket for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got my man John Ivory in the production studio on a Monday. Players report to fall camp Wednesday, the first day of practice Thursday. Everybody excited about this moment right here. Continue tapping the like button. Give us that thumbs up right there. Hit the like button. We appreciate that. Hit that subscribe button as well. Be sure to share the show. Make this your spot here for all things Tide football. We appreciate all the donations, super chats, all of those welcomed right here to the show. We have a message board here. Touchdown Alabama Magazine, touchdownalabama.com, the message board if you're trying to be in the first wave or group of fans to help us rebuild or regrow the message board. You can do this, or you can check out the message board. The link to the message board can be found in the chat line or in the description. So you can check out the message board right there. But here we are, John, in this conversation. Everyone talking about defense, joyless murder ball, wanting to see that side of the ball be back elite after some struggle years here under Pete Golding as defensive coordinator. Now you got Kevin Steele running the show here for the Crimson Tide. And I know, John, that we live in a world of data and analytics. We live in this world now. We can't say we do not, because data and analytics is all around us now. And while it's hard to put numerical value on what would quantify as success, or what would you deem as success for Alabama's defense this season, most people would say I just want them to be more competitive. I just want them to be more physical. I just want, no bad penalties. I just want sacks at the quarterback. I just want turnovers. I just want energy and motivation and juice on the sideline, on the field. I just want an Alabama defense that looks alive out there. And I would agree with you wholeheartedly, 100%. But if you had to kind of put numerical value, if you had to put data and analytics to this question, when you discuss Nick Saban, Kevin Steele, in terms of joyless murder ball, what would deem as success here for the Alabama defense? And me personally, I would look at, just me personally, I would look at this as success, John. Let's say if Alabama gets 50 to 60 sacks this year, because I see that happening. Let's see Alabama gets 50 to 60 sacks, one of the two. What I would deem a success, if the defensive line, if Freddie Roach can have the defensive line account for half, if half of the sacks come from the D-line this year, now, honestly, you would want over half, right? But if at least half the sacks can come from the defensive line, I would quantify that as success. So you're looking at Jaheim Otis, Justin Boygby, Tim Keenan, Jamarian Latham, Tim Smith, James Smith, Monkel Goodwin, Damon Payne, guys like that. If those guys can account for half of Alabama's sacks in the upcoming season, that would quantify success to me, for me. Another thing that would quantify success is, if the middle linebacker is the leading tackler, not just for total tackles, but for solo tackles. That being able to shoot the gap, bang, get the tackle himself. Not having to worry about, assisted tackles, but getting those solo tackles. You look at a lot of the big linebackers in the Nick Saban era in Alabama, and a lot of those guys were huge on solo tackles. Rolando McClain was huge on solo tackles. C.J. Mosley was huge on solo tackles. Reggie Ragland, Reuben Foster, those guys were big on solo tackles, especially Reuben. If Reuben was going to light you up by himself, like, if other people want just to jump in and help Reuben, they did that at their own cause. But Reuben was going to light you up just by himself, right? So the middle linebacker leading the way, not just total tackles, but also solo tackles. I would quantify that as success. Last but not least for me, let's just say if the defense got 20 picks this year. The defense got 20 picks this year. Would quantify success if the secondary got 15 of those 20 picks. Secondary got 15 of those 20 picks, and of the 15 picks, let's say 6 return for touchdowns. Yeah. Of the 15 picks, let's say 6 return for touchdowns. I know that's asking a lot. That's asking for the Holy Grail. I know. But once again, this is the University of Alabama where big expectations kind of run wild. I know Saban mentioned at media days that when you have these big expectations, it sets the players up for all type of negative things that could go wrong and happen. But once again, when you're at the University of Alabama, big expectations, that's what happens when you win at national championships. But that would kind of quantify success to me, right? Defensive line getting half the sacks for the whole team. Middle linebacker accounting for the most total tackles, the most solo tackles. And then defensive secondary, if a defense gets 20 picks, secondary at least account for 15, have 6 of those returned for touchdowns. But, for you as the Bama fan base, what would say you in terms of what would you do? What would you quantify as success here? What would mean success for you when you look at this Alabama defense in the upcoming season here as a whole. But we're going to go to a break here, folks. We'll touch that down. We get back. Return to the phone lines. I want to hear from you. Your thoughts, your opinions on this. What would quantify as a successful defense for you, for Alabama, under Kevin Steele? We'll be back to get to you after this.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwill Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwillsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back rocking it here with you from the break. Hottest show on the streets here on a Monday. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Folks, on Friday, we're going to have, in my own words, live Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa. So, in my own words, live Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa. Come in, come out, check out the show live. Check out the show. Get a chance to chat with me, speak with me, interact with me live. Friday, Alumni Hall, Tuscaloosa. Appreciate having, when I have all you guys checking us out right there this Friday at Alumni Hall. Gonna be fun right there. Guys, shout out my man Dale B with the $20 donation. Dropping the love in the bucket there, Dale B. Helping us out here on the show. Going out of the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be made known, 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from. You're live on the show, caller.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing great. Hey, I got kind of a question or a prediction, or you can give me a prediction. For Kool-Aid, how many interceptions do you think he'll have this year, and how many pass breakups?
Okay, for Kool-Aid, pass breakups prediction, he had 15 last year. Give me 10 for Kool-Aid this year. So 10 pass breakups. Put me down, 10 pass breakups. Let's go 3 picks for Kool-Aid. 3 picks, 10 pass breakups.
Okay, that's awesome. I think he's a tremendous player, and he'll probably be a top 10 draft pick.
I can see it happening, man. Absolutely can see it happening. Appreciate that call right there coming into the show. We'll take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's up with you, man? This is Jay from Florence.
Jay, man, what's going on, man? We finna look at these big boys here coming up on Thursday.
Man, look at them big boys, but you was talking about the defense, man, and man, Steve, the first thing we need to acknowledge as Bama fans is Nick tried to sell us some bull crap with that, these offenses and all this new age offense, and they gonna get 30 points a game and all that. He tried to sell us some bull crap, didn't he?
He was trying to be politically correct, Jay.
No, Steve, no. Sometimes politically correct can be personally freaking wrong, and you personally wrong with that Alabama defense, dog. Because Georgia took exactly everything you do defensively and won 2 back-to-back championships off of that. So all that bull crap and politically talk he was trying to do. We not with that. This Alabama is us against the world. It ain't, I'm trying to speak for the world. No, dog, I'm speaking for Alabama. Alabama Crimson Tide. We were built on defense, and then next thing you know, you got a coach that's like, oh, we're gonna throw the ball 50 times a game, and we're gonna not rush the quarterback, and we're gonna only have one defensive lineman in a critical drive against LSU, and we know this man like to run the ball. Speaking about Jaden Daniels, you see what I'm saying, Steve? Like you tried to really sell us some bull with hiring Pete and then doing that crap. Because I mean, come on, man. If we all as fans put our mind together, we'll say, yeah, when Nick got to talking like that, somebody should have been there like, hey, old man, that ain't how we doing it. You see what I'm saying? That's why we need our guys in our program, Steve.
Absolutely. That's the big thing is getting those guys that have played at the University of Alabama, especially on defense, but defense, offense, doesn't matter. Get more of the guys that have been in this program back into this program. I've been saying it. Former players that have been on this show have been saying it. You've got to reinvest in your program. You got to reinvest by getting the guys that have been there and done that.
From 2A levels, we don't want no more Division II coaches with he got a bright mind and he's a real smooth talker. We don't want none of that, man. We want a football coach, man. Somebody that's going to tell the defensive end, hey, man, you set that edge. Don't worry about what's going on everywhere else and you dropping back 15 yards and all. No, dog, that ain't what you do, so that ain't what I'm going to ask you to do. You see what I'm saying, Steve? Like, we got away from football for a little second there at Alabama. We tried to win in this pretty way, just like throwing the RPO with Tua and all of that. Man, come on, man, listen. You know, I ain't the biggest fan of Tua. I admit that. If we ran the ball when we had Tua with the receivers we had, I mean, we would have been had 3 in a row, Steve. You got to play football, the game of football, Steve. You got to play it the right way, or you're gonna get you a 44-16 beatdown. Because on the first drive of the game, you marching the ball down the field. Then guess what? Your quarterback throws an RPO interception, Steve, in the national championship game. But if you just ran that ball with Najee, ain't no telling what would have happened. And played defense, but I don't know, Steve. It's been very frustrating these last few years watching Alabama, considering the fact we've seen us be great. And we've seen somebody steal our complete style and go be great with it.
I mean, it is frustrating, bruh. Jay, it is frustrating. It is highly frustrating. And I feel like at media days, for the first time in a while, and this is me saying this, for the first time in a while, I think Coach Saban finally, I don't know why it took him years with the Pete and Bill experiment, but I think finally Nick Saban looked at himself and finally gets the sense that all the fans were absolutely right. And Nick Saban is now seeing what all the fans have been seeing and probably been trying to tell him for the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, man, Steve, that was perfect, but you speak on the defense, man. Everybody high on Deontay Lawson when, hey, man, that LSU game and Tennessee game, you got exposed by a scrambling quarterback plenty of times. I mean, you were the spy, and the man rushed for yards. I mean, you didn't do your job. You see what I'm saying? So I ain't too high on him. I think our star linebacker this year gonna be that Jefferson. I like his speed. I like his physicality. The man was knocking 300-pounders on the ground on run plays. He was taking on the block. You ain't seen that in Dylan Moses. You ain't seen that out of here in Toto. You see what I'm saying? So him, I think he should be a key. Running behind Otis, man, I feel like that'll free that man up to just run side to side and knock people's head off all game. I got him being the star of the defense this year. Jefferson, that's my man. Roll Tide, I love you. Oh, and Trey Amos. Keep an eye out for Trey Amos, Steve. But Roll Tide, I love y'all, man.
Appreciate Jay calling in. He's giving his thoughts here. His high points on 2 transfers. Justin Jefferson, transfer linebacker from JUCO. Trey Amos, transfer cornerback from Louisiana Lafayette. But cool call topic right here. On one, Tua Tagovailoa, who in NFL training camp for the Miami Dolphins continuing to showcase the deep ball accuracy. Hitting that one to Tyreek Hill, getting up and down the field. Tua's also got that deep ball going with Jalen Waddle. He's got that deep ball going with a couple of other wide receivers for the Miami Dolphins. And then, his head coach, Mike McDaniel's been talking about that jiu-jitsu training paying off there for Tua. The other day in practice, the other day we're doing the OTAs earlier this summer, somebody had stepped on Tua, kind of knocked Tua down a little bit, and Tua hits a full somersault because of the jiu-jitsu training and did not hurt himself. So the mixed martial arts is working. It's paying off. The mixed martial arts training is helping there for Tua. The main thing is, can it help him when the season starts? As long as he jiu-jitsu or judo or whatever Jackie Chan type stuff he doing out there, if it can just help him in the regular season, when the games matter, then it is all gravy. It is all good. But it's nice to see him back out there throwing deep balls too. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and others. It's fun to hear from Mike McDaniel, the whole somersault, jiu-jitsu, that whole deal. We're going to go to our final break here on the show and touch that dial when we get back. We look at the Alabama secondary. Could we see a situation where 2 young faces start in the secondary, primarily both safety spots? We'll talk about it after this.
I'm Malachi Moore, and you're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we appreciate all of you today for all the phone calls, all the donations, all the chats, all the conversation. You're making this your show, your network, your spot. Talking all things Bama football. We love that. We appreciate that. And the Sage returns with another $5 donation. Dropping the love there in the bucket. We appreciate the Sage showing love here on the channel. You're gonna hit that like button. We're at 88 likes, if I'm not mistaken. Still trying to get to 100 likes. Continue to tap the like button, hit that thumbs up, do what you do. Make this your spot here for all things Bama football. Continue to hit that subscribe button as well. Show us the love there. But, John, to wrap this thing up here, Alabama football defensive secondary. It's a loaded group, talented group. Deep, versatile group under Coach Saban and Travaris Robinson. T-Rob, the full-on secondary coach. This group here, huge with talent. But the question becomes, could we see a scenario where 2 young faces start at both safety positions? We know one cornerback is going to be Kool-Aid McKinstry. That's what we know. The other corner, we're looking at Terrion Arnold more than likely. Trey Amos, though, is right there as well. At that star position in nickel, I'm penciling in Earl Little. That's my guy. I'm writing down Earl Little for star, for nickel. But the 2 safety spots, could we see a situation where you got 2 young guys, 2 young faces? And by young faces, I'm referring to 2 native Georgians. Caleb Downs and Jake Pope. Caleb Downs out of Mill Creek High School in Georgia. Jake Pope out of Buford High School, Buford, Georgia. Could we see this? Could it happen? Not saying it will, but could we see it happen? Gang of Downs, 5-star coming in out of high school, had a fantastic spring. Coach Saban raving about his maturity, what he adds, brings to the secondary. You had Kool-Aid McKinstry, Dallas Turner at Media Days raving about this young man's communication, his physical style of play. Excited to see him emerge here, step up in this defensive backfield. Downs had a very good spring game. You got people already talking about him. If you look at Jake Pope, who had a whale of a spring game, redshirt freshman, 6'1", 192 pounds, former 4-star. What he had, John? Like 10 tackles on A-Day, 3 pass breakups, had a vicious, oh mercy, hit on Jermaine Burton. Yeah, so he had that, all that going for him right there. If not for Malachi Moore being named the MVP of the spring game, people would have probably named Jake Pope as the MVP. People would have probably had, Jake Pope on there. But can we see a situation where these two young faces start at both safety spots? It'll be intriguing. I wouldn't say it's a huge reach. It'd be intriguing. But the bigger question is, Malachi Moore, where does he fit in all of this? He's back with experience, senior, 6 feet, 198 pounds. Freshman year, balled out. Sophomore year, dealt with some injuries. Last year, bounced back, made some big plays. But this year, when you look at a chance to recapture or capture a high draft stock, where do you see Malachi Moore? Is he a safety? Is he a nickel? Is he a dime? Where does Malachi Moore line up? That's going to be the biggest question. Where does he line up? Because you're trying to get your best 5 to 6 DBs on the field. Because primarily Coach Saban goes nickel. He'll play regular base 3-4 if you're going up against a team that plays regular, but very few teams play regular now with the influx of a spread offense and the tempo style and spreading you out, and very few teams play regular now. So more likely than not, 90 to about 95%, Saban's going to go nickel or dime. You're going to have 5 to 6 DBs on the field. And in getting the 5 to 6 guys, the best 5 to 6 on the field, where does Malachi Moore fit in all of this? That's going to be intriguing. Because he can play nickel, played his freshman year. He has the size. He's bulked up now to be a strong safety. He played a lot of free safety, John, if I'm not mistaken, at high school at Trustville. He went to Trustville. He could play dime. It's going to be very fun to see where Malachi lines up. But this is a very deep secondary. And that's another question there for Alabama, for Kevin Steele and Travaris Robinson to answer. Can Bama get the best 5 to 6 guys on the field in the defensive secondary? That'll be another entertaining question. Man, fall camp's going to be fantastic when it gets here. First practice on Thursday. But as always, Bama fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage, material on your favorite team, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store. If you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store, you got the Android phone. Now, for your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, Google Play, or iHeartRadio. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll try to be back on Wednesday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. You're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition of TDA the magazine, here's what you do. You go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member and or a subscriber today. That link in the description as well. Gotta shout out you guys, the outstanding fans of Bama football, for all the phone calls, all the donations, chatting, super chatting, doing what you do to make this your spot here for all things Tide football. Gotta show some love to my man John Ivory holding it down in the production studio. Till next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing too. Not be bored there. You get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself, people. You protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.